stabbed in the back.
With a knife?
Yes, I believe so. It was tough to tell.
Now on Sunrise, a Florida community is rocked by disturbing and gruesome murder. A Florida State student behind the attack.
Plus, a McCulloch County family still looking for answers into the death of a Crawfordville man over 2 years ago.
And a state of emergency declared in California as raging wildfires cause many people to flee their homes. Good morning. You're watching WTXL Sunrise this Wednesday, August 17th, 2016. I'm Christine Souders.
And I'm Malcolm Hornsby. If you're waking up in Boston, Georgia, it's 76 degrees outside of your door. First this morning.
Does look, inexplicably as it sounds, like a completely unprovoked and random attack.
A Central Florida couple is dead after a gruesome stabbing attack, and a Florida State University student is accused of brutally murdering the two. Martin County Sheriff's deputies captured 19-year-old Austin Haroof as he was biting the dead man's face at the couple's driveway in Jupiter. Authorities say Haroof has no criminal record and may have been on hallucinogenic drugs when he attacked that couple.
It all happened Monday night. The Martin County Sheriff's Office responded after a man called 911 saying his neighbors were being attacked. That's when they found Haroof on top of John Stevens, who was deceased, taking bites out of his face. Stevens' wife, Michelle, was also found dead in the garage. Deputies tased Haroof several times and even sent a canine to attack him, all before arresting him. Officials say the neighbor who had called police had been stabbed as well, but he is expected to be okay. Haroof is charged with murder and is currently in a hospital in grave condition, according to hospital staff. A toxicology test is being conducted to determine if Haroof was using flakka or any other hallucinogenic drugs.
The suspect in this case apparently was abnormally strong, so getting that excited delirium type increased adrenaline strength. He looked to me, I saw a picture of him with in shorts fishing. He looked fairly muscular. Somebody not feeling pain, not responding to a dog biting, not responding to repeated stuns from a taser, taking three, 4 deputies and an officer and a dog to get him off. That's somebody with a lot more strength than you would normally encounter. And obviously our neighbor witness was completely outmanned and outgunned in that.
Officials say the motive for the attack is still unknown, and we'll continue to keep you updated on this story both on air and online at WTXL.tv. The family of a man in McCulloch County gathering for a candlelight vigil in his memory.
Jody Kilgore was murdered on October 6, 2014, and the case remains unsolved. His family continues to look for answers into his murder. Kilgore would have turned 52 on Monday. His mother says investigators have no updates in the case, but she believes someone knows something about her son's death. About 60 people were at Monday's vigil in front of a billboard on Crawfordville Highway. Kilgore's mother says Jody was well loved by his family and the community.
He was not only a good son, he was a good daddy, a good husband, and he loved his grandbabies. He got the name of Pawpaw, and he was proud of that, being a Pawpaw. I'll do anything for my son, and I'll never ever give up till we find some answers.
The family is planning a fishing tournament in his memory. It'll be held at Jerry's Bait and Tackle in Crawfordville this fall.
More news this Wednesday morning. 2 people reported to police they were robbed in a parking lot on FSU's campus. It happened at the corner of Madison and Gray Streets. The 2 victims say they were approached by a man with a handgun who demanded they hand over their belongings. Both complied without being injured. The suspect was described as a black man between 19 and 20 years old with short dreadlocks. Officers were told he drove away in a white truck. Anyone with information about this crime is asked to call police.
Tallahassee police are also looking for a suspect who robbed the Marathon gas station on West Tennessee Street. Officials say it happened on July 12th. The employee who called police says that a man entered the store with his head covered, armed with a handgun. According to authorities, he left with an unknown amount of cash.
Employees at a restaurant in Lowndes County also robbed at gunpoint. Witnesses report a masked man entered the Crystal restaurant on Lakes Boulevard and demanded money from an employee there. Investigators say there was another robbery less than 2 weeks ago in the same Lake Park area. Officials are asking anyone with information to come forward and contact Lowndes County Sheriff's Office at 229-671-2950.
And staying in Lowndes County, where an arrest has been made following a string of car burglaries. Joshua Robinson was arrested after an investigation by the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Chris Prine says the majority of thefts happened in homeowners' driveways. The department increased patrols over the last couple of days to help find the suspect. Deputies also conducted a search on Robinson's home. That's when they found many items that were reported stolen. Robinson is being held at the Lowndes County Jail. Looking now at the devastation in Louisiana after flooding has killed more than half a dozen lives and forced thousands from their homes.
Florida Governor Rick Scott now pushing for the state to send aid to Louisiana. The Florida Department of Emergency Management has sent 14 truckloads of drinking water to those affected by the storms. In a statement released by Governor Scott, he says he's personally reached out to elected officials there to offer resources. Scott says Florida is committed to helping those impacted by this natural disaster. And good morning to you, Alex Cordero. We want to officially welcome you to the Sunrise morning team.
It's good to be here, or, not new here, but, new to actually be in the morning.
You filled in several times, but now you're going to stay put.
That's right. I've enjoyed a temporary vacation. I went over to Pennsylvania, and I have to say, I wanted some cooler air, but the humidity over there made it feel just like down in North Florida. So the heat really didn't escape, and we're going to feel very similar again today. Right now, downtown Tallahassee, quiet. The weather stem camera showing some clouds in the low to mid levels, clearing off. The stars starting to move on in, feeling like 81. Currently, the temperature 78 degrees in Tallahassee. Elsewhere, temperatures are on the mild side, 75 in Thomasville and Valdosta. A little cooler where the skies have cleared off earlier, and that has allowed more of that heat to escape high up into the sky. Winds are calm, aside from closer to the coast, where we're seeing a northeasterly wind right now out of Apalachicola, and visibilities have not been so bad. Expect some areas to probably falter on this as we move into the early morning hours. 7 miles in Bainbridge, but that's really not doing much to impact traffic. The low level moisture is around. The winds are calm, so there is support, but the air not exactly saturated enough for some of that fog. Titan radar quiet. Locally, we're not seeing much, although the Steinhatchee River still under that flood warning until further notice due to last week's rains. A large frontal system over most of the Mississippi River Valley, stretching down to the Arklatex, providing for rain right now. We're starting to see an exit of the rain over Louisiana, so good relief there, but still not expecting a completely sunny day for them just yet. So a little bit of messy weather still expected. We always talk about the tropics in the summer months, and we're actually monitoring a disturbance, now Tropical Depression 6. We'll have updates on this depression coming up on the full storm team forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Alex. And now to traffic, where the visibility out there isn't too bad this morning. Give yourself a few extra minutes, however. We do see maybe just a little bit of haze in South Georgia right now. Let's head up there to South Georgia and Thomasville. And the main routes there, Highway 19, Highway 319, Highway 84. Looks like there may be a little bit of some congestion in the heart of Thomasville. Keep this in mind when you're taking the kids to school this morning and heading into work. On I-75, Highway 84, Highway 41 in Valdosta. Seems to be pretty smooth sailing. We do see just a little bit of a hang up there in Valdosta. Keep that in mind this morning. Here's a look at your traffic flows in Valdosta. That'll do it for your check of traffic for right now. Now to the latest on the California wildfires.
What started off as a small brush fire has turned to a state of emergency in Southern California as a wildfire rages on. This as a suspected arsonist is arrested for fires in another California county. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos with more.
Fire crews on the ground and in the air in California, battling this resilient brush fire in San Bernardino County.
I can't believe the planes have flown over. It's kind of scary.
This blaze, dubbed the Blue Cut Fire, exploding across at least 18,000 acres east of Los Angeles, leaving behind charred homes and cars. Swing sets melted. forcing at least 82,000 people out of their homes. The rising heat and high winds causing this fire-nado. KABC's longtime chopper pilot over the fire.
This is a monster of a fire that is moving faster than any fire that I've seen in a very, very long time.
And this is just the latest in a rash of wildfires that has consumed some California counties. This wildfire, called the Clayton Fire, scorched at least 4,000 acres and 175 structures since Saturday. Most of the area is still off limits, with thousands forced to evacuate. But for one California community where they've witnessed fiery blazes get way too close to their homes, a sigh of relief mixed with outrage.
It is my pleasure to announce the arrest of Damon Anthony Paschilk on 17 counts of arson.
Police say Damian Paschilk is a serial arsonist who sparked fires across this California town, including the one that exploded over the weekend.
And with a serial arsonist behind bars, officials say that's a win, but fires are still raging in California. Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency in the state as firefighters try to put out the intense flames. Christine.
All right, thank you, Malcolm. And still to come this morning, strong storms slam Indiana with tornadoes and record-breaking rain. A closer look. Plus, meteorologist Alex Cordero is back with another check of your local weather. But first, if you see news happening, call us at 850-894-6397. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or send an email to abc27news@wtxl.tv.
Living in Indiana are still cleaning up after a slew of severe storms swept through the state Monday night. The National Weather Service says half a dozen tornadoes may have touched down in central Indiana.
Scary stuff. The NWS released a preliminary report that shows 6 tornadoes hit several counties. The powerful storms knocked down trees and power lines and ripped siding off of houses. No reports of anyone injured by the severe weather. Thank goodness for that.
I was following that closely. The first tornado warning not too far away from Indianapolis, and that same parent storm seemed to have produced those multiple tornadoes that just kept traveling further away from Indianapolis and just maintaining strength for a while. So one of those freak of nature storms that you could sometimes get.
All right, and here locally?
A little summery. A lot of summery. That's right. Feeling very hot outside. Florida State University's weather STEM camera. Not too bad. The clouds moving away, but the clouds still helping to make it feel a little mild out there. The gibbous moon becoming full rather soon. By tomorrow, we should see a full moon, and, well, not a bad look. Pretty beautiful out there to start off the morning. Winds right now calm across most of the way. Apalachicola still seeing that light wind out of the northeast, 6 miles per hour, and temperatures more on the mild side. Some areas where we're seeing the clouds closer toward the Gulf Coast, 78 in Tallahassee as well as Apalachicola. Mid to upper 70s stretching along the US 84 corridor, with Homerville seeing the coolest spot so far, 73 degrees for you. Titan radar quiet, not expecting rainfall to develop until the later portions of the afternoon, as is typical with the summer setup. We really don't see a lot of the rainfall unless there's enough forcing for it. As such, with this frontal system draped across the Mississippi River Valley, stretching into Memphis, Tennessee, we're seeing some showers even into Kentucky. All of this pushing toward the north and east, where low pressure is helping to turn up the possibility for some stronger storms. But that low pressure area stays there. High pressure in control over our area. It's not limiting the rain coverage altogether, but it is helping to keep us with more of an isolated setup than more of a widespread setup. Into Thursday, though, that front gets ever so closer, starts to pull in more moisture from the south. We could see more scattered thunderstorms because of that, but notice the icon, keeping it here because I'm still expecting temperatures to be hot, which that can only help to enhance the overall coverage for those thunderstorms. As we advance into Wednesday afternoon, notice the showers and storms a little higher in coverage off toward the south, especially toward the south and east again, as it has been over the past couple of days. But at night, it dies down because you lose the daytime heating. We'll keep coverage at around 30%. So hit or miss thunderstorms once again. You may get some rain, and if you do, some of those showers could produce heavy downpours. We've seen this instance over the last couple of days where an isolated storm has shown to be severe, providing isolated instances in damage. And with this type of setup, that can't be ruled out. Beach and boating showers possible in the afternoon with that southeast wind, 5 to 15 knot seas up to 2 feet. Light shot for bay and inland waters. Rip current risk moderate, and the UV index index on the extreme side because not expecting a lot of cloud cover to build, even though some areas could see some rainfall. Making it out over the open waterways, these numbers are also available on our sister channel, 27.3. The tides will start to get a little on the high side toward 2 to 3 o'clock. Most of us already seeing the high tide as of now. Another update on Tropical Depression 6. This depression forming last night, looking a little healthy on the satellite imagery here. You can see that ball of thunderstorm activity. This expected to be a maritime storm, expected to stay over the open waters. No impact to the U.S., but nonetheless, we'll keep our eyes on this system. As you can see, likely strengthening to a strong tropical storm later on this week. Our 7-day forecast shows Thursday to be the rainiest day as that cold front gets a little closer, helps to pull in more moisture. But even then, highs still above average, which for a point of reference is around 92 degrees. So if you get some rainfall, it can definitely help, but I still expect it to get hotter before the rainfall moves in.
A big difference from last week when it was just rain every day. Now it's heat on top of heat, maybe a few showers, but then they're very much welcomed.
Yeah, exactly. When we move into September, it'll become a little more comfortable.
All right. Let's come on, September. Let's get here.
Coming up, we've got your Jimmy Kimmel recap.
The National Spelling Bee champion faces off with Jimmy, but it may not be as easy as it sounds for the champion to beat Jimmy. We'll tell you why coming up.
Starting things off this morning with your Jimmy Kimmel recap and keeping with the back-to-school theme. Every year, Jimmy invites the winner of the National Spelling Bee onto the show to compete against him.
For this year's competition, he hired a new word pronouncer, but it turns out he may be making the process a little more difficult than it should be. Check it out.
Ready for our word.
Yacht.
What?
Yacht.
Oh, yacht?
Yacht.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Can you believe the size of the yacht?
I had the alternate pronunciations, please.
I think that was the alternate pronunciation.
There's an option for that?
What?
An alternative pronunciation?
I don't know. Were you a good speller? Are you a good speller? That's
not really.
I am. Master wordsmith over here.
All right, we might have to put you to the test sometime.
Let's do it sometime. Not today, though.
Against the spelling bee champion, huh?
Nah. Remember, you can catch Jimmy Kimmel every weeknight at 11:35 right here on WTXL. Other entertainment news this morning. The Playboy Mansion has finally been sold for $100 million. Its new owner, Darren Metropolis, the co-owner of the Hostess brand. The iconic estate was originally put on the market this past winter for $200 million. Built in 1927, the 5-acre property features 20,000 square feet of living space. Think that's enough for you?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Playboy founder and current resident Hugh Hefner has lived at the mansion since 1971. Sources say that the 90-year-old will still live there.
I wonder if he'll have a vending machine with Hostess snacks there. Because I don't think the Playboy Mansion has that. I mean, it has everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Besides that.
Probably could use a few snacks.
The deep-fried Twinkies as well. Ashley Judd is going back to school. The 48-year-old actress announced on Facebook Live that she is pursuing a PhD in public policy at University of California, Berkeley this fall. Judd has a master's degree in public administration from Harvard University. The actress playfully shared that she has a backpack and locker, but she doesn't have her outfit for the first day of school.
Arguably the most important part, that first day outfit, you know?
I'm sure she has a stylist for that.
She'll figure it out. I always find that admirable when celebrities have degrees, you know, something to fall back on. And she is back. Legendary pop star Brittany Spears is set to perform at this year's VMAs on August 28th. This will be her first performance there in nearly 10 years. Brittany made headlines with a few of her past VMA performances. In 2001, you may remember she sang with a giant snake wrapped around her shoulders. And in 2003, she locked lips with pop queen Madonna. Her last performance in 2007 was a flop, though, with audiences and critics, and she hasn't been back since. Britney Spears will perform her new single, Make Me, from her newest album, Glory.
And she's looking better than ever, I think.
You think?
Yeah. She is really fit, and I think those kids, running around those kids, and being a mom has really, you know, made her kind of flourish as an artist.
Will you be tuned in August 28th?
I will be listening on the radio, I think.
Good enough.
And that's a wrap for your entertainment news. Straight ahead this morning, getting something done from start to finish can be a tough task if you're constantly distracted. We'll tell you how to fix several concentration killers.
Talking your health headlines this morning. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter may be great ways to connect with others, but social media can also cause you to disconnect, especially while at work. One way to avoid the urge of scrolling through feeds is to do so during breaks. You can still check status updates without having to jeopardize your responsibilities. For emails, set a specific time aside just to check and respond to them. Even with little to no distractions around, fatigue can make it difficult to concentrate. If you want to get more done during the day, try getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. And getting anything done on an empty stomach isn't easy, so avoid skipping meals at all costs. The more balanced your diet, the better. A new study reveals that too many parents continue to place their babies in unsafe sleeping environments. Researchers looked at video recordings of infants between ages 1 and 6 months sleeping at their homes. The footage showed a number of parents putting their babies at risk by placing them down on their sides or stomachs. Parents were also seen using sleep surfaces too soft, bedding too loose, or avoiding or allowing their child to share the bed with them. The Department of Health and Human Services says sleep-related deaths are the most common cause of deaths for babies 1 month to 1 year of age. That's a quick check of your health headlines. Much more to come this morning on WTXL Sunrise. A California man has been arrested after officials say he may be responsible for starting a string of wildfires across the state. Plus, local firefighters working to help fellow first responders battle post-traumatic stress disorder. Details straight ahead.
Wake up, you gotta shine with the sun. It's all about early, and I wanna be there.
Good morning, and you're watching WTXL Sunrise. It's Wednesday, August 17th, 2016. I'm Malcolm Hornsby.
And I'm Christine Sounders. It's about 5:30 this morning. If you're watching in Sopchompy, Florida, it's 78 degrees outside your door. Let's take a look at what's happening in the world right now.
The man accused of killing a Muslim religious leader in cold blood over the weekend has pleaded not guilty in court. The New York City Police Department released this photo of the gun that was found in the home of Oscar Morell, the man charged with the murders. The revolver, police say, matches the one that appeared in surveillance video on the night of the murder. 2 others were gunned down execution style outside of a mosque in New York on Saturday.
California police arrest a 40-year-old man on suspicion of starting several fires in Lake County over the past year. Authorities believe Damon Pashlik started the Clayton fire, which forced nearly 4,000 people out of their homes last week. Fire officials said the charges he faces will be enhanced to include punishment for the destruction of homes and businesses. The Clayton fire prompted California Governor Jerry Brown to issue an emergency proclamation for Lake County on Monday. The Clayton fire has consumed some 4,000 acres and is only 5% contained. Looking up and down Florida this morning, local firefighters are traveling across the country to learn how to deal with PTSD. New research shows that firefighters and paramedics experience post-traumatic stress disorder at the same rates as veterans or those with cancer. Tallahassee Fire Captain Mike Bellamy is just one of 3,000 first responders at an event in Las Vegas. The week-long conference provides ways to deal with PTSD. Captain Bellamy says it's important for lawmakers to understand the mental and emotional aspects these jobs can have on them.
There is one state right now that currently accepts the fact that PTSD is a occupational hazard, and they provide benefits and help sort of rehabilitate these employees. We'd like to see the state of Florida and our officials step up and take the same considerations.
They're also discussing the health risks first responders face, including the rising number of cancer-related deaths. Captain Bellamy says that especially affects firefighters who breathe in fumes on every call. One TFD firefighter died from cancer in January.
Voters in Leon County can head to the polls as early as Saturday for the upcoming primary election, but not every candidate will be on every ballot. The Leon County Supervisor of Elections office says there are different ballots for each party and a nonpartisan ballot as well. Some candidates running for office were uncontested in their party and will go straight to the general election in November. Other candidates have no party affiliation. They are not listed in the primary, but the office says they will appear in the November election. Early voting in Leon County starts on August 20th, followed by the primary election on August 30th.
A proposed 19.6% increase in workers' compensation insurance rates is being considered by Florida state regulators. Some labor groups have argued that in the past that high attorney's fees have kept injured workers from pursuing justice. In April, the state Supreme Court ruled that setting a limit on attorney's fees in workers' compensation cases is unconstitutional. The proposal presented yesterday stemmed from that discussion.
What we've seen so far today is that there was a recent Supreme Court case, and what we're finding is the trial lawyers want to make another almost $2 billion in trial lawyer fees, and it's not going to help small businesses or injured workers one bit.
The proposed rate increase would take effect in October if approved. Lawmakers are also expected to debate more changes to the workers' compensation system during the 2017 season.
Turning now to your FAMU news, the school is being recognized as a top American university by Forbes magazine. The university is listed as one of the best research universities and one of the best public colleges by the magazine. The list is based on student satisfaction, career success, national competitive awards, and retention and graduation rates. FAMU has been recognized in Forbes before. University President Dr. Elmira Magum says that this year's recognition of the school as a research institution speaks volumes about the FAMU community and its global impact. Still to come this morning, another look at our local weather and traffic reports.
And it's a red-hot Americans summer as Sports Illustrated unveiling its newest cover. Details straight ahead.
Talking your community events this morning, One Blood in Tallahassee putting out a call for donors.
The center is asking for anyone with blood type O negative to donate as soon as possible. There's a dramatic increase in the demand for O negative because it's universal, meaning anyone can accept it. For more on how to donate, visit oneblood.org. Meteorologist Alex Cordero hanging in with us this morning, the start of a new journey with us all.
That's
you excited?
Right. I'm very excited, but I'm also excited for the winter. I don't make it any secret that that's my favorite season, and this summer heat is brutal. You know, it's already feeling muggy outside, although it could be a lot worse, obviously, when the daytime heating gets its act together. I'm expecting those temperatures to climb quickly. 78 in Tallahassee, 75 in Thomasville and Valdosta. The temperatures haven't varied much from the last check, and well, expecting them to bottom out at around this level at this point. The air nearly saturated in some spots and the winds calm, so isolated areas of fog possible, but right now not looking too bad. Titan radar also quiet, but still notice the flood advisory we have for the Steinhatchee River down toward the south and east. Other than that, really quiet in terms of any other aerial flood warnings. We've been seeing this quiet down. The rainfall that we saw last week now pushed over to the west, remember, causing the disastrous floods over Louisiana, and still most of that rainfall situated with a stalled out frontal boundary across the Mississippi River Valley. That's going to be slow to move. It will do so over the next couple of days, and more of that moisture may make an impact in our neck of the woods, but still expecting high pressure to keep us hot with winds out of the east. And because it's more of an easterly wind and not so much of a southeasterly wind, we're getting more of the sea breeze from the Atlantic. It takes a little longer for the cooling effects of those showers to move in because they're coming in from the first coast near Jacksonville. So because of that, even though we could see scattered thunderstorms by tomorrow, I'm still expecting it to be hot before then. Beach and boating, showers possible in the afternoon. If you're going out over the open waters, best to do so in the early portions of the morning between 7 to noon before the next high tide rolls in. Southeast winds 5 to 15 knot seas up to 2 feet. Light chop for bay and inland waters. UV index extreme water temperatures in the mid 80s, excuse me, would be a lot cooler if it was in the mid 60s. Our 7-day forecast, let's talk about this in detail. Wednesday through Friday, isolated storms today. Then it becomes a little more scattered Thursday as that frontal system gets closer by. Saturday and Sunday a little drier, and because of that, temperatures expected to jump to the mid 90s, and I say drier in terms of rain coverage because the low level moisture will make it feel like the triple digits even then. So very uncomfortable out there as always during the summer months. Make sure you stay hydrated. Stay hydrated and stay cool because it's still likely going to stay like this even after Tuesday with more heat on the way. We'll have more updates coming up in the 6 o'clock news hour, but now Christine, how's the traffic out there?
Traffic is looking pretty good this morning for the third day of back to school in Leon County. Here's a look at our visibility in Leon County, Tallahassee here. Looks like everything seems to be running pretty smoothly. We do see on Highway 26 a little bit of a hang up there, so keep that in mind when you're heading out the door this morning, taking the kids to school or heading into work. Let's take a look at the traffic flows in the capital city. Here we go. Tennessee eastbound, give yourself 11 minutes. It's going to take you about 6 minutes on Monroe southbound. Tennessee westbound, give yourself 5 minutes this morning. And on I-10 eastbound, give yourself 10 minutes this morning. Here's a look at the big picture here. Just a little bit of fog near Bainbridge at this hour. That'll do it for your check of traffic for right now. Days before it gets released, Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 is getting rave reviews from the experts.
ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have more in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Samsung's new smartphone appears to be a hit.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal's Joanna Stern calls the Galaxy Note 7 the best Android phone she's ever tested. And USA Today's Ed Biggs says the phablet poses a noteworthy challenge to the iPhone. It gets released on Friday. Ford is planning to roll out a fleet of self-driving cars in 5 years.
The automaker wants to mass produce the driverless cars for a ride-hailing service. Ford is already testing hybrids in 3 states. The goal is to eliminate the steering wheel and pedals. And McDonald's is using technology to promote fitness among its youngest customers.
Yeah, the fast food giant is giving away these colorful activity trackers in its Happy Meals for the next few weeks. The company says the wristbands are part of its effort to get kids active.
And those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
For your protection, school has finally started in Leon County, and the resource officers are ready to go.
Every middle school and high school will now have an extra sense of security with more deputies on hand. WTXL ABC 27's Jay Blexa has more.
Well, students are back in school now, hitting the books, but a lot goes on behind the scenes to make sure the school year goes smoothly. And joining me now to talk all about that is Sheriff Mike Wood. And Sheriff, you guys have been training all year long to get those school resource deputies ready. Talk about what has been going on during the summer.
Well, they've had a very busy summer. Of course, they catch up on their mandatory training as law enforcement officers in general. And then they have the statewide conference, which is the Florida School Resource Deputy Association. And so they've attended 40 hours of training there. We've recently had our in-house training where we bring in our community partners, the State Attorney's Office, the Department of Juvenile Justice, several social service agencies, the Court Administrator's Office for teen court, things like that. And that's not to mention that they've been busy all summer with adventure camps for both boys and girls and in their day-to-day operations. So it's been a busy summer for the school resource deputies.
And you all have added some deputies to the schools as well. Why is that?
Well, we collaborated with Superintendent Pons. He came to us with the idea and we liked it. And so what we're doing now in our elementary schools, which does not staff full-time deputies, we've introduced a program for security deputies. They're undergoing some training. It's not as extensive as a full-time resource deputy, but they're undergoing some training. And we're going to have 8 deputies a day that'll split time between the 16 elementary schools locally that don't have a school resource officer assigned to them. So ideally, they will have some coverage at every school every day. And that's primarily for security. But the fact of the matter is, and I was talking to the school board the other night about this, it's a win-win for everybody because it's a win-win for the students. Even at the elementary level, they interact with the deputies, and it gives them an opportunity to see the deputies as real people and kind of create relationships even at an early age. For us, it also gives our deputies an opportunity to kind of put their toe in the water a little bit and see what they think about the school resource deputy program in the event that that's a career advancement they would choose to pursue. So it works for us, it works for the students, and it works for the school board because there's an added layer of security at the schools for the children and the staff, which is our most important responsibility, is their safety.
And tell me a little bit about your experience. You actually worked in the school system too many years ago.
I did. In 1986, I was a school resource deputy, and I worked initially at NIMS Middle School, which is also where I attended middle school, which was kind of a unique opportunity for me. So I did a year at NIMS Middle School, and then I did my last year in the resource program at Leon High School. And so I absolutely have some insight on what it is to be a school resource officer, and it's very enjoyable. I created relationships and friendships that 30 years later, I see my students with their families, their young adults, and it's very rewarding for me.
And tell me a little bit about, real quick, before I let you go, Sheriff, your message to students to maybe get them to reach out to a deputy on campus if they need help or maybe guidance.
Sure, and that's our primary goal. You know, we want to create relationships. We want to demonstrate by our day-to-day walk that we're just people. We're just like their moms, their dads, their aunts, their uncles. We want to create relationships where they're comfortable talking to people in uniform and knowing that we're there to help them and serve them, and we're not there to lord over them whatsoever, other than to be there to help them as they're, you know, in their safety.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you.
And of course, we got all that information posted on our website.
You can find that and more in the Sunrise section of WTXL.tv. Don't go away. We're back in 2 minutes.
When it comes to college football, division rivalry is always a big deal.
Always. Sports Director Allison Posey tells us why in this morning's Sunrise Sports.
Less than 3 weeks stand between the Florida State Seminole football team and their date with Ole Miss to kick off the 2016 season. The guys insisting it's just another ball game, but at Media Day over the weekend, a few of them flashed some smiles at the mention of it being SEC versus ACC. Bragging rights, they are a huge deal, and Florida State knows to have a good year with their tough slate, they're going to have to develop their passing game. It's no secret FSU relied heavily on Dalvin Cook last year, and co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Randy Sanders says FSU has to be able to throw the ball and make teams pay when they devote themselves to stopping Dalvin. Simple enough, right? With DeAndre Francois likely behind center and several receivers returning, Sanders says it has to happen.
You may want to throw it more, you may want to run it more, but unless you have the ability to do both, you can get stopped. And so we have to become more consistent in the passing game. We got to have receivers making plays, we got to have quarterback making plays, and we got to do a good job protecting the passer when we do throw it.
We return all our guys, and we just got to be more consistent, and that's what we're working on every day in practice. And I see these guys, they want to come out there and get better, so I'm excited for this season.
Speaking of quarterbacks and offense and throwing the football, the hunt for a QB at Florida A&M still continues. The Rattlers open up the 2016 season against Miami, and head coach Alex Wood has said that he's starting to see some separation in that quarterback battle, but not enough just yet to name a starter. Spots Wood does feel confident about running back, and another, the offensive line, where he has 16 guys to fill in some depth issues. So things looking pretty good offensively at FAMU, and as long as they keep doing the little things, progress will continue.
We're working at it. I'm pleased with the overall effort of our team. In all phases of the game, we're working at it. As always, we've got a ways to go, but we got time. Fundamentals is where it's at. Okay, that's the basis of the game. Because if we can't, schemes don't matter if you can't execute fundamentals.
With your Sunrise Sports this Wednesday morning, I'm Allison Posey.
Turning to your national sports headlines this morning, a hearing was scheduled for yesterday on the upcoming double murder trial for former NFL player Aaron Hernandez. The former New England Patriots star pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder and weapons charges stemming from the deadly drive-by shootings in 2012 in Boston. Prosecutors say Hernandez fired into a car two men were riding in because he was angry after one of them bumped into him inside of a nightclub and caused him to spill a drink.
The former NFL star is already serving a life sentence for the June 2013 murder of Odin L. Lloyd. Lloyd was dating the sister of Hernandez's fiance at the time of the murder. Hernandez is appealing his first-degree murder conviction in that case.
Miami Marlins Ichiro Suzuki continuing to show off his slugger skills this season. The star outfielder made his first career hit inside Great American Ballpark last night against the Cincinnati Reds. He now has at least one hit in all 30 MLB stadiums. Suzuki has made a hit in a total of 40 different parks throughout his entire career. All this comes after he just recently made headlines for reaching his record 3,000th hit back on August 7th. That's an average of 200 hits per season over the course of his 15-year career.
3,000.
An accomplishment.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. Imagine making that many hits.
I can't.
Over a course of 15 years. He must be pretty strong.
Meanwhile, check out this crazy catch made by one Chicago Cubs star, first baseman Anthony Rizzo, making jaws drop as he skids into the stands for a pop fly. Instead of just letting it go, you see him stepping onto a concrete ledge and reaching into the crowd. May have saved a few runs, too. Chicago went on to win 4-1 against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Very happy about this one. Yeah, he was so graceful in doing that, too. What? He was.
Graceful
on one foot?
I'm graceful, right?
You don't play Major League Baseball.
Not that you know of.
Moving on. Some of Team USA Olympic gold bling is gracing the cover of Sports Illustrated. The cover photo features gymnast Simone Biles and swimmers Katie Ledecky and Michael Phelps all posing with the medals they won in the 2016 Rio Olympics. The cover line reads, "The greatest stars of a red-hot American summer."
Now, this is the 11th time Michael Phelps has been featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It's the second for both Katie Ledecky and Simone Biles. Famed photographer Simon Brody snapped the winning shot.
Look at all that bling.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So much gold.
They all earned it.
You know, there's actually a silver underneath all the gold that Michael Phelps is wearing, but who cares, right? 23, something he shares.
That guy. That guy.
Something he shares in common with Michael Jordan. Michael, 23.
Oh, that's true.
Greatest of all time in their respective sports.
Kind of a stretch, but true.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't think it's that much of a stretch.
Not that much of a stretch. Anyways, let's stretch out.
Yeah, what was the title of the magazine? What was it? Red Hot American Summer,
yes,
right?
Love that.
Red Hot American
Movie,
Summer.
shows,
Red Hot
everything.
Summer in Tallahassee and South Georgia as well. Low 90s, mid 90s, feeling like 100 to 105 degrees. How's that for a red hot summer? Very hot stuff. The rainfall is still possible. That can definitely make it feel more comfortable out there, but the rainfall will be hit or miss. If anything, tomorrow looks to be the greatest possibility for some thunderstorms in the area, which could help to cool you off.
Good to keep in mind when the kids are waiting out by the school buses.
Yeah, might want to bring an umbrella, rain jacket.
Yes. All right. Well, make sure you stay with us because we have another full hour of news coming up here in just a little bit.
Alex will still be here hanging out.
Yep, he's still here.
First day.
That's right.
We're back in a few minutes. Don't go away.